This video has been made possible by Rebusfarm, the professional render service.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Well guys, a little while back I did a German World War II hand grenade for my portfolio, and I received several comments and emails from people asking me to do a tutorial on it. Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. Let's jump in and have some fun. Here we go. Okay guys, here we go. I'm going to start in my panel view, go to my front view and click on View Image Plane and Import Image, and then I'm going to go to my desktop and look for the image that we want to use, which is this. Okay. Now this is a screenshot of an actual 3D model that I have already made for my portfolio. So we're going to hit W, move that back and move that up. And what we're going to do here is we are going to do the high poly only. Okay. So we're going to do a high poly, we're going to UV map it, we're going to texture it. Okay. Now, if you want to use this as a game prop, you need to have a low poly as well. Before you start sending comments about the poly count, I'm well aware of that. My assumption here is that if you are able to model a high poly, then you will be very able to model a low poly. Okay. All right, cool. So let's get into that. We're going to take a polygon cylinder, and I want to make sure that it's nice and round, so I'm going to hit Control A to pull up my attribute editor, and let's do 40, and we'll do 0 on the caps for now. So if we zoom in, you can see it's nice and round, and then we're going to hit E to rotate and hold down J to snap it. Okay, let's zoom in on this view. We're going to hit W, we're going to move that up. And let's start at the end here. Have to zoom in. We're going to turn on our X-ray. We're going to hit R to scale that down somewhat. Have to zoom in again. And just try to get to the end there. Then we're going to right click on the vertex. We're going to drag select that. I'm going to pull that back to about there. Then I'm going to involve this view here. We're going to right click on a face, Control E to extrude, R to scale in just slightly, G to repeat last command, W to pull out. And if I now move back to this view, we'll pull that out to about there. Then we're going to hit G to repeat last command again, R to scale out again, like so. G to repeat, W to pull out. And in case you're wondering what that sound is in the background, that's my dog who's thirsty, so don't worry about it. Okay, so let's see, G to repeat, R to scale down just a little, G to repeat again, and W to pull out. And there's where you need to check if you have the right diameter, and it looks okay. We're going to go to about there. We're going to hit G again and R again to scale, and then hit W and pull that out. Let's hit R and scale that down a little bit more. Okay, G to repeat last command, W to pull out to about there, G to repeat last command, R to scale out just a bit, and W to move, and we'll go to about here, hit R, scale a bit more, G to repeat, and W to pull out, and there we go. Then we're going to hit F to zoom in. I want R, hang on, Control E first, R to scale up just a bit, and W to pull forward, like so. G to repeat last command, R to scale out, G to repeat, W to pull out, G to repeat, R to scale up, G to repeat, W to pull out, G to repeat, R to scale up, G to repeat, W to pull out, and then we're going to pull that out to the end like so. Let's do that, okay? And hit enter. Now, I want to go in and do insert edge loop just around here. Hit Q on your keyboard. We're going to right click at a face and click and shift double click to get that entire row there. Let's have a look. Yeah, we're going to hit Control E to extrude that and hit R to scale that out just slightly. Don't go nuts on that. Alright, now that's just a rough layout. What we're going to do first is we're going to right click and go to object mode, and we're going to hit 3 to preview smooth so we can see where we need to add edge loops. Okay, now I'm just going to close my attribute editor so we can see it better. Obviously up here, so we're going to hit 1 to go back, and what we'll do is we'll right click and go to edge. We're going to select that edge. We'll do that from this view. Okay, so I'm going to right click and go to edge, drag select this, and then shift to drag select that, so we only have that, and go to edit mesh and bevel. We'll set the fraction to 0.05, and then we'll do 3 on the segments. That's okay. And then we're going to go into insert edge loop, and we're going to add a few to kind of hold those shapes. So we'll do one here and one here. Don't go all the way to the edge. You don't want that edge to be too hard. We'll do one there. We'll do one there. Don't add any there. We want that to be smooth. We're going to go over to the end here. This, on the other hand, needs to be fairly tight. This one as well. These will keep a little bit away from the end. And then in here, we're going to need multiple. So what we're going to do there is we're going to go to insert edge loop, multiple. Let's do 8. Hopefully that's not too much. There we go. Hit Q on your keyboard. We're going to right click at a face. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's fine. So we're going to take every other row there, like so. We're going to hit Control E to extrude. And then we're not going to hit R, but we're going to just tweak the thickness. So let's do 0.1. That's way too much. 0.02. That's maybe a bit more. Let's do 0.03. Okay, cool. So now that we have that, what we're going to do next is we're going to go in, right click, object mode, and we're going to smooth mesh. First we're going to do a preview again. So that's hitting 3. That looks fine. Got a huge n-gon there. And that looks okay as well. Okay. So we're going to hit 1 to go back. We're going to go to mesh and smooth to actually smooth. And like I said, we do not have a poly count restriction on this, so don't worry about it. Okay. Now we shouldn't have any n-gons anymore, but I'm just going to check to make sure. So in object mode, I'm going to go to mesh and clean up. I'm going to select anything with more than 4 faces and hit clean up. And as you can see, the ends seem to be okay. All right, cool. Okay, next step, we're going to UV this guy. So we're going to go in and we have it selected. We're going to go to UV and let's go to cylindrical projection. Let's pull this way up and it needs to be rotated. So we're going to hit Control A to pull up our attribute editor, and under the poly cylinder projection 1, we're going to set the Z level to 90 degrees, like so. So now if you go into UV and UV editor, we got the whole thing going on here. Okay. Now I'm going to try to get all of this into one screen for you guys. I'm normally working on 2 screens, but you can only see 1, so I'm trying to make it visible. So if I right click and go to shell, I got this shell here, but I want to cut a few edges. Okay, so I'm going to right click and go to edge, and let's do this one. And I'm going to go to cut UV edge, and then I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to do the same at this end. Let's do that one, that's fine. Okay, and once again, cut UV edge. Okay, so now if we get a shell and we hit W, we can move this out of the way, and we got this here and we got that. Okay, now let's select this and go to polygon, and let's do unfold. There we go, and I'll just turn this on so you can see it better. Actually, let's do that one. Okay, so that needs to be stitched together. So I'm going to right click and go to edge. I'm going to drag, select this, and go to move and sew edges, and then I'm going to go to shell and go to unfold once again. Got one little stitch that we need to fix here. Right click edge, that's that one right there, and move and sew, and just to be sure, right click shell, and once again unfold. Okay, that looks fine. Then we got this guy, we can do the same. So we're going to hit unfold. It's projected on top, so I'm going to right click, go to shell, and move it out of the way for a bit. So it's almost perfect with the exception of this down here. So right click edge, select that, and go to move and sew, and then right click shell and go to unfold. Okay, so this all together, we're gonna go to layout, so it's positioned nicely in our 0 to 1 space, and now we have a UV'd model. Okay, now there is a text on our grenade here, and it says "Voor Gebrauch Sprengkapsel einsetzen." Okay, that's the best German I can do. Okay, so we're gonna have to create a stencil for that in Photoshop, so that's what we're gonna do next. So hang on while we jump into Photoshop. Right guys, so in Photoshop I went to File, New, and created a 2048 by 2048 file, and I'll just move this out of the way. And what we're going to do is we are first going to create a new layer right there, and I'm going to switch here, create a black color, and then take my brush and make sure it's very big and just swoop over it to get a nice black background. Okay, and that's what we need for our stencil in Substance Painter. Then I'm going to go to white, and I'm going to create some text here. So I'm going to go to text, but I'm also going to go up to window, and I'll select my character panel. It's actually already here. That's cool. And let's see, we'll start by making this a little bit bigger so we can see what's going on, and then we'll make sure that we're in text layer and click right here, and I'll start to put in that text. And hopefully I'm typing that correctly. Yeah. So I'm going to copy a number of text lines. So I'm going to hit enter on this guy. Then I'm going to take my selection tool and I'm going to drag select it to make it a bit bigger. Let's center it. And I want this to be copied, so I'm going to hold down the Alt key and left click and just click on it. And hang on, hit enter first, sorry. Just click on it. Okay, and now I can alter that one. So back to my text here. And we'll make sure that that one is positioned in the middle as well. Okay, hit enter. And then we'll do that once again. Hold down the Alt key. And now you can see if you get your spacing right. There we go. Go back to this one. Let's see, how do I spell that? Okay, and again, we're going to make sure it's centered and so forth. And then we have one more text line to go. So again, hit Alt, bring that down like so. Go back to our text here, click on that. And now there's some text that says sk.do. Actually, let's change the letter type on that one. Let's see. Not that one. Let's try that. Nope. We're just going to go with the impact that we had. Okay. So sk.do.11.12. That's what it says. I have no idea what it means. Okay, there we go. So that is it. All right, that's what we're going to use. Let's see, what do we need to do next? We're just going to get this out of the way and get this out of the way. I'm going to select these guys. I'm going to right click and let's see. No, I'm not going to right click. I'm going to go to layer, and we're going to go to merge layers. And then I'm going to go to select and deselect, so it's all clean and everything. And then I'm going to go to file and save as, and we're going to save this as a PSD, and I'll call this grenade stencil text. Okay, let's make sure it's selected and saved in the right location. So let's see, yeah, that's correct. There we go, and save that out. So that's our stencil. Next we need to go back into Maya and prep the model for Substance Painter. Okay, here we go. Okay guys, we're back in Maya. A couple of things we need to do. We're going to right click at object mode, and we're going to go to edit, delete by type, history. We're going to go to modify and center pivot to make sure that's centered. And we're going to go to modify and freeze transformations. Okay. Now, next thing we need to do is create some identifiers so we know what material will go where. Okay. Just want to make sure that looks okay. Yep. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this fella here. We're going to right click, go to face, click and shift double click to get that entire row. And then we're going to hit shift period to expand that selection. And let's look and see how far we want that to go. Okay, so we're gonna keep on going with our shift period. And I'll zoom in so we can see it. And that's about it. Okay, so we're gonna right click, we're gonna go to assign new material, and we'll do Lambert. We're going to select the color, but that's not necessarily for Substance Painter, it's just for ourselves. However, I want to rename this material here, so in object mode. So we got our red. Let's call this steel. Okay. Just want to check to see whether this turned out okay as far as, yeah, looks okay. That's fine. Okay. Okay, then the wood part. All right, we're going to select that. We're going to right click at a face. We're going to click and shift double click. Again, we're going to hit shift period to increase that selection. On the right hand, we're all there. On this end, we're all there as well. Perfect. Right click, assign new material. We're going to do another Lambert. Let's do yellow, which is fine. And then we have this guy. And for that, we'll just right click and go to face, drag, select. Let's try that again. Drag, select, and I'll go to here. Come on. It's not wanting to play ball for some reason. And hit 4 for wireframe mode so we can see it better. And I'm going to hold down shift and I'm going to add that selection right there. And then my perspective view with 4 on my keyboard. Looks like I need to have one little more row there. So shift period. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to right click, assign new material, another Lambert, and we'll just take a color. Hit 5 for shaded mode. So we got all that. All right, cool. So next we're gonna select the whole thing. We're gonna go to let's see, where to go? Export all. There it is. Export all in our folder, and we'll call this grenade OBJ, and we're gonna export it as an OBJ. Okay, and let's export all. Okay, so next step is jumping into Substance Painter. Here we go. Okay guys, we're in Substance Painter. We're going to start off by going to View and Reset UI, so we're all on the same user interface layout. Okay, and then we're going to go to File and New. Alright, now I'm going to leave this as the default, so the PBR Metal Rough. I'm going to leave DirectX. I'm going to change the map size to 2K, and I'm going to go and select my grenade mesh. Okay, I haven't baked anything so far, so I'm just going to hit OK and have that pulled in. We'll give it a second, and there it is, and it seems to look okay. And then we're going to start by baking our default maps. Okay, so I'm going to go here and bake textures. I'm going to select all of them, and because we do not have all the information to bake all of them, we will get some error messages in our log file, but don't worry about that. I'm going to set that to 2K, and I'm going to bake, let's see, the texture sets. Okay, I'll hit pause while it's baking that, and I'll see you guys in a sec. Okay guys, well that has all been baked. You can see that I got my 3 materials here, and as I turn them on and off, and I'll just turn them off, off, and off, there you go. You can see that we now have the opportunity to apply a material to each one. Okay, so I'm going to start with my wood material. So I got this guy selected. I'm going to go and look for, let's see, we'll do a smart material. Wood, and let's see, we'll go with this. Okay, so I'm just going to drag that in here. We're going to have that calculate out and apply it to the handle. It shouldn't take too long. And there we go. And as we zoom in, you can see that it looks okay, but maybe we want to tweak it a bit. So we're going to open up this folder. Now we got the wood veins, for example. With that selected, let's bring that up just a bit, and as we do, you can see that it's making them slightly more visible, which is good. Wood fibers, same deal. I want to make that nice and visible. Let's see, we don't want to go crazy there. That looks good. And especially the dirt, I want to have a look at that to see if we can tweak the color. It's quite brown. Let's see if we can try to make it a bit darker just by dragging that down here. Okay, just trying to have a look to see whether this is the wood we want, but I guess it looks okay even from very close up, so we're going to go with that. Okay, cool. Then we're going to switch to this guy. We're going to turn this off. So this is the end part, which is kind of a green aluminum. So we'll go with aluminum. There we go. And I'm not familiar with every smart material in here, so we're going to initially drag it in and see if we can get the effect that we want, especially from a color point of view. So it has been applied. We're going to open this up. We've got scratches and we've got the aluminium base, and here's our base color. So I'm going to click on that. Now I'm going to click on my color picker, and I'm going to hold that and I'm going to drag it onto an image that I have on the other screen, which will give me the color that I'm looking for. This is the color of an actual grenade. I'm just looking at our example here. That's the color we used. And then let's see, I want the metallic look to be brought down just a bit. It's a bit too shiny, and we'll increase the roughness a bit. And I want this to be slightly more towards green. So what we're going to do here is, that's too green. Bring that towards brown a bit. Guys, just hang on one sec. I'm just going to get a good reference image with a nice color that we can use on my other screen here. And that's what we'll go with, okay? I just want to make it look right. So I'm going to take my color picker again. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we have that. Let's see if there's anything we need to tweak with that. I think it's a bit too clean, so I'm just going to do a step back, take this material, get rid of it, and let's try steel instead. Okay, and we'll go with, let's try painted steel. This is painted tank, that's even better. Probably already has a nice coat to it. It's calculating. Like I said, I don't know all these materials by heart. We'll give that a sec. Alright guys, I like this much better. Okay, it looks very nice. So we can tweak this if we like. Up here again we have that folder. We can tweak, for example, the edge wear if we want, you know, depending on what you like as an end result. I'm not going to pull the slides too much. It has to calculate every time, and that makes the tutorial unnecessarily long. So, but I just want to make you guys aware that you can do that. You can tweak the amount of dust. You can tweak the amount of rust just by simply clicking on them. And then you have sliders you can play with. Okay, so we're going to go with that material. We got our wood, and then we're going to go to the main part up there, which is this guy. So I'm going to turn these two off, make sure that that one is selected. We're going to apply the same material, so I'm just going to drag that in, and it's going to have to calculate, so we'll give that a second. Okay guys, there we go. You can see that it's not extremely metallic. I'll just turn on the other two parts. That's probably because we chose the tank material. If you want to have a more shiny surface, I would go with the painted steel, but nevertheless I'm okay with this. And the final thing we need to do is to create the text on the grenade itself. Okay, so for that what we need to do is bring in the stencil that has been created. So I'm just going to pull up that file on my other screen. Just give me 1 second, guys. And what we're going to do is I'm going to pull that in. Here it is. And I'm going to drag that into the stencil area right there. Okay. Now I need to choose import for current session only. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rotate this guy until I have a position where I want to have that text, and while I hold down Alt and left click and move it, I'm going to hold down the Shift key to have it jump to the position that I want. Okay, now I'm going to make sure that I got that guy selected and nothing else, so right there. and then I need to go in and create a new layer because it needs to be paintable. Okay, so don't create a new fill layer, create a layer. Okay, make sure you got that selected. A couple of things we need to do. We need to select a brush to do the actual stenciling if you want. So we're going to go with the default. We're going to select the hard brush. So we've got the brush, we've got the hard alpha, and we need to select the stencil that we created. So we're going to click on stencil, click right here, and then let's see, here is our grenade stencil that we created. I am going to zoom in until we have a nice large image, like so. That looks about right. Let's look at the height here. Okay, that works for me. And now what we need to do is we need to choose the base color. So I guess white is okay. I'm just reconsidering that hard brush. I think it's maybe better to do it a little bit more softer, but we'll see. And let's see what else. We need to decide on height, whether we want that or not. So we're going to leave height at 0. And we'll give this a go. Okay, so let's just start to brush this on. Okay, so that's about it. So I'm going to zoom out. Okay. And then we're going to get rid of our stencil. We're going to turn on the other 2 layers. Okay, now that's our text. Not bad at all. The only problem is that it's very, very white. So what we can do is, well, actually what you can do is go in and change the color on that if you like. Let's see, I don't think I can do that from here. No, but that's fine. So if you want it to be a slightly darker color, then you can do that. What I'll do is I'll do that for the thumbnail of this video, so you can see that it can be done. And that said, that is pretty much it for this tutorial. If you have any questions, as always, let me know. And thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.